with so many young players on this team playing, how crucial was this to be able to now go into a week with tape of a win as you take some coaching points and try to help this team improve this next week?
There's nothing like winning. That's what it's all about, and that's your goal every single week to go 1-0. And give the players credit. They had an outstanding week of practice and just their work ethic and all their hard work. Even through the difficult times, this is big because you always want to build a winning culture, and you've got to find a way to win the games to get that going. And now the challenge is to come out here and start stacking wins together. So, but it's just big for everybody, big for the young players. For them to really understand it doesn't matter how you win, you just got to find a way to win. And the game's never over. So you just got to keep playing. It's a great example. Just keep fighting, and win the game.
Mike, that said, in his post-game comments yesterday, Cam seemed a little more disappointed with how he played than he did happy that the team won, at least, in his outward appearance. Do you have to talk to him about that and say, hey, enjoy this because, this is something that this team has been needing?
Yeah, you want to enjoy every win in this business. It's never easy. It's tough to win in the NFL week in and week out, but he's a competitor, and Cam wants to be great. He wants to play great every week, and there's times where if you don't play the way he's not going to sugarcoat sometimes the way what he says and how he plays and his opinion on things. But it's about winning. That's the number one thing, and you always talk to the players about that. Hey, listen, there's going to be the ups and downs. It's not always going to be perfect, but hey, as long as you find a way to win, you learn from it and you move on. That was a great challenge for our offense, and Cam, obviously, with all the man coverage and playing against the best pass rusher and Miles, and the way the guys played and kind of neutralized him from the game. But it's about winning, and Cam knows that, but he's a competitor.
Chris?
Coach, I'm curious. Cedric Gray obviously had a great game, but have joking, you're going to have him running gassers just to make sure that he can get from A to B without falling over now?
Yeah, you don't see that very often. That was, I kind of said something to him. He just said, hey, I ran out of gas. And so that was an honest opinion. Great play by him. But I don't think I've seen that before. So yeah, it was interesting.
Just as a follow-up to him, what's he meant to you guys from a consistency standpoint on the defense throughout the year?
Well, you just love the way he plays the game. Said, when he first got put in that position, the first game he went out there, and had, what was it, 17 tackles or whatever it was, the one game, and he hasn't skipped a beat since. I think him and Cody do an outstanding job in there together. But you just love his attitude, his effort, the way he clogs everything up in the middle, the way he plays downhill. But very happy with the way he's playing this year.
John?
Hey, Mike. Obviously, you've got some young pass catchers who put up some good numbers for you, but I'm curious what you thought yesterday and maybe also for the season as in general about how they're getting separation to get open for Cam downfield.
Well, I think there's good and bad in every game. They're playing against some really good corners out there, nickels. There was, it's unfortunately we had a couple missed opportunities for some big plays yesterday for one reason or another. Whether it was, we had an opportunity to throw the ball downfield to Chin that we just overthrow, but we had a little bit of a protection breakdown. So, but I give Cam credit for hanging in the pocket, trying to make the play. And there's, there's the give and take of the season. I think there's some games that they're better than others, and we knew there was going to be a great challenge against a team that plays a lot of man coverage. And there's some growing. They're growing, they're learning. I think when you play different corners in this league, you start to build a little library of how to play that player, how he plays, what technique he plays. So it's all part about being a rookie and growing in the league.
Let's go Tehran, Jim, in that order.
Yeah, Mike, my question is in regards to Jeffrey Simmons and his performance yesterday. Seeing him ball out like that, how much does watching that make you really believe that winning does matter for him and that it's bigger than any of the other things, whether it's a number one pick or, positioning, draft, or anything like that?
It's all about winning to Jeff. It's so many, the entire team. We've talked about it. It's about winning week in and week out. That's what you're in the business for. But the way he plays on Sundays, I mean, he absolutely dominated the game once again. He affects every play. You've always got to know, you're talking about Miles on the other side. Jeff is the exact same. You have to know where he is every single play because he can ruin a game in a hurry. But it's also the way he works and what it means. And, as a leader sometimes, it's hard to be a leader sometimes. And when I say that is, he's not afraid to speak up and express his opinion. But that's what the great leaders do. They hold everyone to a certain standard, and he has a burning desire to win, just like everybody else on this football team. But he's a great leader, and just so happy to see him out there, just playing the way he is, and getting not only that, but getting the Walter Payton Man of the Year award again for the third year in a row. It just shows how fortunate this organization is to have somebody like this, and for the young guys to be able to learn from such a great pro.
And then real quick, when Dan Moore Jr. went down, Crenshaw Dixon came in for a snap, and then Ali Udo did after that. What was behind that? What was your reasoning? Why did that rotation go like that?
Because you cannot go from an eligible position to an ineligible position after an injury. So by rules, he could not stay in the game. He had to come out for a play, and that's why he came out, and then we put him back in.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Jim?
And Mike, I know it was a team effort, but your tackle specifically on how they did on Garrett, what'd you like from, I guess, JC and Dan?
Well, the big key going into the game was neutralize 95. That was the number one thing you have to do against that defense. Obviously, we know his sack total. We know, just like we just talked about Jeff, he is someone that will wreck a game in a hurry. So our number one plan going in was to run the football. That's the first way to neutralize them, and always have someone there, whether it's a receiver, whether it's a tight end, whether it's a back, somebody who's going to chip him, whether you put the protection to him, slide the line to him, depending on where he's lined up. That was the whole plan. And, we just watched the tape as a staff, and you see one time where Ellick is the one guy who chips him and does a phenomenal job. So that was the plan going in. And I think that, the tackles did a nice job of neutralizing them.
Let's go Corey, then Steve, then Paul.
Hey, Coach, can you talk about what you've gotten from Corey Levin, and is he a consideration to just go the rest of the way this year?
But it's not shocking at all with what Corey has done. The great thing is that all the reps he took during the offseason program and through training camp. So we haven't skipped a beat with him in there. He's did a great job of running the show. In the inside, I think the inside three have done a really nice job the last 2 weeks with him in there. And we'll just see where everything is during the week with the health of the team and everything as we go.
Hey, Mike, on the list of just getting a win and what it means, you guys have talked so long about not beating yourselves and finding ways to win. To see the team yesterday get 2 turnovers that led directly to 14 points, get a block punt that sets you up for a field goal, is that exactly what you're talking about? And how nice is it to, come in on Monday and look at the film and talk to the team about, see, this is what we're talking about, how we have to play?
Yeah, there's nothing like winning. And we always talk about complimentary football, but to be able to get 17 points, one off an interception, one off the fumble, one off the block kicks, you get 17 points there, 3 scores. That's what it's all about. And that's what the good teams do. And you always talk about when there's turnovers or block kicks, big plays in the kicking game, things like that, to capitalize and score. And that's exactly what we did. And that's what helped us win this game. So it was critical we did that. Give credit to all those guys who made those plays for us. And then the offense of capitalizing on the opportunities we had. But it's all about, winning football, and that's how you win games in this league.
Paul?
Morning, Mike.
Morning.
A lot of national conversation today, obviously, about Cam and Shador. Can you delve into how the shape of the game is such an important ingredient for a young quarterback? Obviously, Cam threw less and needed to throw less because you had the run success. Shador had the flashy numbers, obviously, but comes out of the game on the losing end.
Yeah, it's all about winning. And I think depending on what the situation of the game is, obviously they had to throw the ball more at the end to come back and win. And he did a nice job. Unfortunately, we helped him a number of times, sustain drives with a number of penalties. But in Cam, you gotta, we talk about all the time, you guys have asked the question about the running game, things like that. But for any young player, a running game is the quarterback's best friend, especially a rookie quarterback. So running the ball as efficiently as we did, and give everybody involved, all 11 on the field, credit for the way we ran the football yesterday, and way we just continuously stuck to it. And that's what you have to do. You can't just go in there and say, hey, you're going to run a couple of times here and there, because you get in a rhythm. And it's just like a quarterback throwing the ball. The offensive line, tight ends, guys in the running game, they get in a rhythm too when you run it the way we do. So I think it's a great example for a young quarterback like the two that played in the game, when you have a good running game, of how it helps you. And then the way we protected Miles to help him. And that's just all the part of the growth. And this was, we talked about, with you guys earlier in the week, about this was going to be another great test for Cam in his rookie year against a really good defense that plays a ton of man coverage and has the best pass rusher in the NFL off the edge, to learn from. And it's all the growing process. So you just continue with both these guys. They're just going to continue to get better the more reps they take. But it's critical. You kind of learn the importance of having a good running game, the importance of all your check downs, all those things, doing the next best thing. So
Chris, then John, then Jim.
Yeah, Coach, just going back to the block punt, obviously it's been a long time since the franchise has done this, and Bones has talked about it throughout the season. Can you just kind of speak to, I guess, the effort and the preparation that was put into what finally culminated yesterday?
Well, I think give Bones and Stu credit for designing the scheme on how to attack the punt and what to do. Get other players involved so we could free James up to get through there. And we've been close a number of times this year, and they're two great coaches that they're playing a lot of guys in the kicking game. I think all the players are really bought into the importance of the special teams, and there's great effort. You see a number of different guys on a weekly basis who makes the big plays. We've had a number of big plays in the kicking game, but that was a game changer right there. And block kicks in the kicking game really change and have a huge impact on games. So it was great for us, to get points off of that. But just a great opportunity. The players is a well-designed scheme. The players went out and executed it.
And what makes James kind of the unique skill set for that to be put in that position?
Well, his ability, his athletic ability and his ability to rush. And that's one thing that he's done a great job for us on. So it just really happy for him to be able to go in there and make a game-changing play to help his team win.
Mike, I think one of the analytics sites had you guys at a 63% pressure rate on Shedeur yesterday, which I believe they said was the highest rate against any quarterback this year. Wondering if you could talk about maybe the impact that made, and I guess at the same time, were there maybe a couple of times where you thought that might have been able to do a better job of taking Shedeur down?
Yeah, that was gonna be my first comment. There's a couple plays in there where we've got free runners and we don't get him to the ground. We got him surrounded by a couple defenders one time. But give Denard and the coaching staff, all the credit for the design of all the pressures, the pick games, all those things that they did to get the pressure on him. But definitely, I think, sitting next to Jeff and those guys on the plane last night coming home, they were kind of giving each other a little bit about, not making the plays and wrapping them up to have a number of other sacks. But they did a great job of getting after him and affecting the game.
And Mike, I got one quick one, and I got another follow up on the block punt. But the quick one is you took a timeout on 3rd and 3 right before that Prochet completion. Was there a personnel issue? How come you took one there?
No, there would have been a delay of game. The clock was running down, and very similar to what happened. We had the delay game last week, and I did not want to go 2 weeks in a row with that. So the clock was at 0, and I was right next to the official, and we were communicating. So I called timeout.
Okay, then the other one, Bones talked about last week. James Williams talked about after the game, just Tim Shaw's influence, him being around. You've been around Tim, I know, as well. Just how much of an inspiration has he been maybe to players showing up here every day, trying to give tips? And what do you think about Tim and his impact?
I was with Tim in Carolina when he came out of college, and it's unbelievable. For him to be out here every single day, supporting everybody, Everybody loves having him around. You know, the golf tournament we went to last year was so much fun. You know, it's unbelievable to have him here every single day. You know, he's in meetings, he's out at practice, but it's just great to have him around here with us.
Yeah, Marcus, having played all these games and only won two, like what does that speak to the lesson you've learned just as far as like how difficult it is to win in this league and how important it is to do so?
Yeah, as you see, it's tough to win in this league. So you cherish every single moment, or opportunity you get to play the game and come out with a victory for sure. And you just realize that like every week the small mistakes they could either hurt you or come back at the end and not really matter depending on how the game goes. So I think it's been a great lesson so far to see how difficult it is to win in this league.
Let's go Terry, then Jim.
Just kind of take us through the play yesterday where you forced the fumble against Dylan Sampson, because that kind of turned to be out to be one of the turning points of the game.
Yeah, just trying to make a play, come up, make a tackle. They ran that play a couple of times, so recognized and was able to react quick and then just go and then make a play, come up with a physical tackle. And then I realized the ball that popped out and Cedric had it and forced a turnover.
Jim.
And Marcus, what you've played, you're starting to play a lot now. What's the biggest thing you've maybe learned here during your rookie season, trying to get better?
Just trying not to make the same mistake twice, knowing that it's hundreds of eyes looking at you every play. So just trying not to make the same mistake twice and get it corrected before the opponent sees whatever it was that I could have possibly messed up on, to minimize the mistakes I make in the future.
How you think you've done on that so far, and what was that like when you maybe did make the same mistake twice? How much you beat yourself up when you do?
Yeah, I think I've done a good job so far of not making the same mistake twice. And knowing that like every day I am attempting to get better and take the coaching points that I get. I think I've done a good job. It always hurts when you make the same mistake twice, even if it's not exactly the same, if it's similar, but it's just ways to get better, and you try to avoid that the most you can.
Corey, then Chris, then Easton.
Hey, so many times this year we've seen one side of the ball play well while the other struggled. What did it mean for the defense yesterday to get those 3 turnovers and see the offense turn it into 17 points?
Yeah, I think we preach complementary football. That's one thing we talk about all 3 phases: special teams, offense, and defense. And that's one thing we've been honing in on the last couple weeks as a team. And I think takeaways was the emphasis this week for us, knowing that we haven't took the ball away, I think, in maybe 3 weeks or so, or maybe it's just been 1 turnover in like 3 weeks. So that was the emphasis for us in order to help our offense be in better positions, because you take the ball away, it's usually a shorter field. So that was our goal.
Marcus, back to that turnover you forced. You see Ced pick it up. What do you think of his return?
I told him after he got to work on his return skills, and then he should have scored for sure. But it was good to see Ced with the ball twice yesterday. The 2-point play, I wish he would have scored, but I guess he said his legs were giving out, so I don't know what's up with that.
Hey, Marcus, as a young guy who's a part of this group trying to, rebuild the foundation of this team, the culture of this team, when you see Cam take kind of the approach that he did after the game yesterday, he doesn't seem necessarily all that satisfied with the performance, despite it being a win. What's kind of your takeaway from that, and what's the balance between being satisfied with a win in a league where it's so hard to win, but also not resting on your laurels and focusing on improvement?
Yeah, I think I mean what we've been preaching as a rookie class, just when we meet together and come together, is that like, yeah, we have 2 wins now. The record's not where we want it to be, but we gotta treat this the same way and remember this if we were, say, a 10-win team. So I think that mindset Cam had, it was a good mindset. But then as you some of the other guys were expressing how difficult it is to win, and that's another part that we understood. But I think it was just holding ourselves to a high standard. That was all that was.
Steve?
And Marcus, kind of to that end, it's just one win, but it's been a long time. How different is the mood on the flight home, in the building today, Victory Monday, to reinforce all the work you guys have been putting in to get that victory?
Yeah, I think being on that flight, like obviously the energy was different. People laughing, standing up, enjoying each other. After a hard fought game, it's definitely, excuse me, better flying home after a win than a loss. So the vibes were great, and they come in the building today. You see the people after hearing after them watching the game saying good game, those kind of things. So the vibes are good all around in the building and in the locker room for sure.
Jim?
Marcus, how much have you paid attention to, I guess, the veterans on this team, whether it's guys in your position group or Amani, Jeffrey Simmons, guys who've been doing it for a long time, and how much have they tried to show you the way?
I pay attention to the vets pretty frequently. I'm always asking them questions, just picking their mind about things. Whether it's in my room, like from Sneed, and then in the safeties, X and Amani Hooker, and even Jeff and Arden at times. I'm asking them questions and just picking their mind. Cody as well. So it's great having those guys a part of the team in order to help the younger guys.
And I know you're a long way from home, but you get a chance to have more people come see you this week in San Francisco. That was about a 9-hour drive from Portland.
Yeah, 9-hour drive, like a hour and 15-minute flight. So I think I'll have a good amount of people at that game for sure.
If you go back to the 2023 season when your Panthers 2-15, going down that stretch, as one of the veterans on the team, like, how critical and important was it for you guys? I know you didn't do it necessarily, but how important was it for you to win going down that stretch and use that as momentum to roll into the next season where you guys were able to double the wins to 5-12?
I mean, I just think we in the business of winning, and week in and week out, we're professional players. We all, I mean, at the end of the day, we're all trying to extend our careers. We're all trying to accomplish things individually as well as collectively. So going in, week out, it's about winning. It doesn't matter when we can. I mean, we want the wins every week. So whenever we get the opportunity, now being towards the end of the year, and we want to get a win every week. So it's not just the fact that it's the end of the year. I think we're a desperate group of guys who just want to get a win. We've been through a lot. We haven't won, so just getting a win, build some more confidence, and hopefully it will roll over. As we get another win, it rolls over into the new year, into the
That's what I
next
want you
season.
to
But
speak
just
on.
this year, we just want to get a win.
Yeah, that's what I want you to speak on, just like how you could roll that over into the next game and even further into the next season, the off season, into the next season.
Winning breeds confidence. It breeds confidence. That's just part of the business. Once you lose, you start to doubt yourself a little bit. That's just inevitable. You start to doubt yourself. You get outside noise sometimes, but winning silences all of that. And that's what that's the biggest thing. The silencing all the noise, getting a win, being able to reset, and just go into the next week knowing that uh, our confidence is high.
Jim, then Corey, then Chris.
Dave, you had a pick yesterday. Marcus, who we just had on, forced a fumble that Cedric got. How much do plays like that bring energy, and how much you guys need to keep that going here with 4 games left?
I think turnover is one of the biggest factors in wins and losses in this league. And so we haven't been creating turnover, we haven't been creating takeaways in the past few weeks. But just to get back on that track, just to get back on the roll and creating turnovers, as we can see, my turnover led to points. Marcus' turnover led to points. Even getting the turnover on the 2-point conversion was big. It said they ran out of gas. But just turnovers creates another opportunity for the offense to go out there and put up points, and we're still in possessions at that point. So turnovers, like I said, turnovers are one of the biggest factors in wins and losses in the game. We have not been creating them, so uh, to get back on track and get two turnovers was big yesterday.
How much you kind of kidded about him running out of gas, and he said he was getting a little grief in the locker room for that. What's the kidding like for Cedric after that play?
Oh, well, I was on the back end, so I thought he was going to score. He had like 10 yards on everybody. So I kind of took my eyes off of him for like a split second. Then when I looked back, he was trying to dodge defenders. So I'm like, what happened? But he's definitely got a little bit of, we got known to him in the locker room today. Man, he just came around the gas 40 yards down the field. I see if it was 90 or 80, but we didn't even make it all the way down yet.
Corey?
Hey, after you guys won in Arizona, everyone wondered if you would be able to carry that confidence into your next performance, and it didn't. What do you guys have to do differently this week, preparing for this game than you did that first time around when you won in Arizona?
Just as much as you would like to say that we won yesterday and just going to roll over to this week. As much as I would like to say, each week in the NFL is a totally different week. You see a totally different team week in and week out, and that's part of the NFL. And so I'll just go. Our goal is to remain consistent and to just keep elevating in December football, which is where you want to play your best ball. So our goal is just to keep elevating uh, and just play to a higher standard and level than we played this week.
Dave, Marcus and Mike both talked about just complementary football, and that's what it takes to win. Just from your perspective in the defense, how much does it galvanize what you guys are doing, seeing the offense being able to go down and actually convert those turnovers into points?
I think it was major. How they started the game with the drive, uh, how they scored on our turnovers, how I think they complement each other. Them seeing us get turnovers complements them. I think it breeds confidence in them, and then seeing them score breeds confidence in us. Knowing that your team, knowing that your offense can go out there and score points, just kind of gives you know, I've been on a team, I've been on defense, not this one, but I've been on a defense where you have to be perfect. When your offense was struggling to score, and it was like, man, we got to be perfect on defense. We can't allow 2 touchdowns. And so gets everybody uptight. Uh, and when you're trying to be perfect, man, that's tough. But when you got an offense that can go out and they can score 20, they can score 30, you know that, hey, if the defense give up this touchdown, the offense has your back. That's complementary football, and that's a team. That's the essence of the team. The defense doesn't have to be perfect. The offense doesn't have to be perfect. And so that's when you have a good team when no one has to be perfect, but on any given day, it could be 50-50, 60-40, or 90-10, depending on who's playing the best ball that day on defense or offense.
Hey Xavier, as a veteran who has seen a thing or two in this league and knows about leadership and culture, when you see Cam as the leader of this team, maybe not be as satisfied with the game yesterday after the game as you may expect him to be after a win. How does that land with you guys, the older guys on this team?
I definitely understand where he's coming from. You know, he's a quarterback. We didn't win. I mean, just speaking on the defense, we didn't win the full quarter. We wanted to close it out, make it 31-17, I think is what it was, or something like that. We allowed those 2 touchdowns. So we didn't close out the way we wanted to. So that was kind of the disappointment. I think that was the sentiment that he was trying to relay. And then we also told him wins is hard to come by in this league. You celebrate all of them, no matter who it is, no matter who it is or who it's against. You celebrate all the wins, and then we know that the win wasn't disappointing. There's no such thing as a sorry win, or however you want to call it, but a win is a win at the end of the day. But I definitely understand the sentiment that he was coming from. We didn't win where we wanted to. We didn't close out the game where we wanted to. But we definitely going to 24 hours celebrate that 24 hours uh 24-hour rule for that game.
Steve, then Jim.
Xavier, in the spirit of rolling things over and getting back to work this week to get another win, how much easier is it to walk in the building today after a victory and have a victory Monday? You feel a little bit less sore today? Mood's better? What's it like there today?
You said less sore? No, I'm not. No, I don't think no one's less sore. I think the mood is better. The mood is definitely better. Uh, winning changes everything. Winning the game, winning games, that changes everything. Changes everyone's mood. Changes everyone's perspective. Uh, and so we definitely been having fun, but losing isn't fun at all. No one. I think me personally, I hate to lose, and so just winning definitely changes the mood, uplifts everyone.
Just to follow up on that, is it easier, when the game plan comes in, you start going back to work this week for the next one, to have had this success, to have experienced it, to fully buy in? Not that you weren't before, but just to have some proof in the pudding to get back to work.
Uh, Not necessarily. We are professionals, and then I've been in this thing for a long time, so I know every week you gotta come in prepared to work, no matter the results. Because we're gonna say this is a team game, so I mean, it don't matter who it is. Jeff been playing some great football, and week in week out he comes in and he works. He works day in and day out, and so it doesn't matter. Guys come in, guys play their best ball, we lose, but they come in the next week and work. Guys may not play their best ball, but come in and work. And so every day, I think we got to come in and just work, have the same mindset, have the same work ethic every day, no matter the results.
Xavier, I think you said when you first got here, you were a Titans fan growing up. Steve McNair's your favorite player. Just want to make sure that's true. And I think you sit in that conference room right now with McNair picture over your left shoulder, just to your left. What do you think when you see his pictures around the building, remembering your childhood past?
I think it's just remarkable. I mean, when I first played the Titans 2 or 3 years ago, when we came here and I seen the picture on the stadium. I had never played here before, never been here either. Just seeing his picture on the stadium, um, you know, I just remember watching all the Titans game. Like I said, I think my first Titans game, I don't know if I told you, my first Titans game, my first football game that I can ever remember, which is why I think I like the Titans, was Titans versus Rams in the Super Bowl, um, on the little box TV at my grandmother's house that you had to turn the dial on the TV. So it wasn't even remote control. So that's kind of what I remember. But just watching Steve McNair throughout my entire childhood, man, I wore number 9 in youth football. So it's just remarkable just to be here to see his pictures. So yeah.